Hello and welcome to this WKTV sports presentation. I am Mike Maul and I'm here along with Garrett Vandevelde, Doug Hansen, and Phil Moore, and we are coming to you from Wyoming Lee for the 17th annual Stubby Overmire Card and Collector Show. It's an event each year Ty Emelander puts together as a fundraiser for the local high school sports here in Wyoming Lee. We'll talk to Ty a little bit later in the program, and of course we'll talk to baseball's last 30-game winner from 1968-69 Cy Young Award winner, 1968 World Series champion, baseball's last 30-game winner, Denny McLain will be with us as well. We'll also get a chance to talk to Denny and some of the vendors that are here. So we thank you for joining. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Well, we're joined now by a couple of very familiar faces here, but we're going to let them introduce themselves anyway.
Paul Kabelman.
Tom DeGennaro.
Paul, as everybody probably is well aware, had been with KTV for many, many years doing various broadcastings. And Tom has been, it's been a while since we've seen you, Tom. How you been?
Oh, man, I'm totally blessed. Everything's going great.
Great.
Physically, I'm pretty awesome, but mentally I'm a little behind, but I always was, so I don't think that's any different. So.
That's what my wife says about me, too.
Exactly. My wife's like, oh, it's different.
Yeah.
How has the show been going so far from a selling point of view?
Excellent. Great. Yeah. It's slowed down some now, but hopefully it'll pick up before it closes down again.
Okay. How about on your side, Tom?
Oh, man, fantastic. This is probably the best show I ever had. So
nice.
Yeah. Even better than last year. Last year I sold out in 5 minutes.
I was going to say, if I remember right, somebody came in and offered you your entire table.
Yeah, bought all my stuff, and and I left. I was like, okay, here's your money for the table, and I went home and.
Yeah, we were looking for him. We saw him earlier. I was going to do an interview, and I came around and I asked somebody, and they said, "Oh no, his table sold out. He went home." I thought they were joking.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was like, oh, that's kind of cool. He goes, well, how much for the whole table? And I kind of looked at him like, well, this is kind of fun. I don't want to sell it all right now. Then I thought about it. I was like, oh, okay.
I can sit for that amount, no problem.
How did you figure out a price that quick, though?
I had an idea of what I wanted, and he had an idea of what he wanted to give, and we met in the middle. So, we counted them out and looked at them and stuff, and boom, there you go.
That's awesome. Never had that problem.
No. I don't have it this time either.
Yeah, really.
How many of these do you do now?
This is it. I haven't done one for I don't even know how many years. Probably since I had my prostate removed.
And all that's good now?
Yep. Yeah, I had bought with cancer again in the spring, but praise the Lord, we're doing well.
Yep.
Good. Good. And how about you? Is this the only one? You do other ones I know I've seen you at.
I go to Vern's.
Yep.
Yeah, and then this one, and that's the only two.
Okay.
But I go to a lot of them around town, walk around, see the fellas, and, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know what I buy, but.
I see Lee Rebel.
Throwback.
I was going to say, that's not legal anymore.
I was a rebel a lot longer than I was a legend, so.
Oh, you're a legend here around. You're a legend around here. You know that, Tommy.
Yeah. Oh, I love the place. This is a throwback jersey. When they were switching over, they were getting rid of them. I was like, I'll take one. So I wear this all over the place. You'd be surprised too, because I'll walk up by Heritage Hill and up by Lookout Park and stuff because I just love looking at those houses. And guys will come out of nowhere. Is that a Lee shirt? Well, I went to school there. I graduated in 1950. You're like, wow. They come out of nowhere. They're so proud to be Lee.
Exactly. I mean, a small district, but there's a lot of history here.
Ton of it, yeah. So it's really cool. Yep. And I say, I used to be the football coach and stuff there, and I taught there. They're like, we don't know you. Okay.
So much for that conversation.
Yeah, exactly. We're done.
Well, guys, it's always a pleasure to see both of you. And
I was going to ask.
Yes, sir.
Who was the best man at your wedding?
This gentleman to my left side, right here.
I must have been busy that night, right?
Yeah, you turned me down. Don't you remember?
That's what it was.
So I was second choice.
Yeah, well, second's better than third.
Yeah, well, true.
Well, as always.
You told me that this morning.
There you go. As always, gentlemen, it's always a pleasure.
You too, man.
Blessings to you both.
Oh, yes.
All right.
You too.
Take care.
God is good, yep.
Joined by father-son customers here today. What are the names?
Scott. Dakota. He's a little shy.
There you go. Nothing to it, huh? Looking for anything special or just coming out to see Denny?
Just coming out to see Denny and look at some cards and just see what was out here.
There you go. Finding anything?
He found a Tom Brady that he bought,
Okay.
so he's a Tom Brady fan.
Very nice. You got it there?
You got it for $2? Oh, yep. It's right here. Got a deal on it for $2. So
Nothing like it. You having a good time? Good. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Exactly. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. Appreciate you coming out as well as stopping with us.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, what's up, man?
We are joined now by our good friend we get to talk to every year, it seems.
Yep, Marv VandenBosch from Zealand.
There you go. Marv, it's always a pleasure. We miss your brother. How is he doing?
He's doing pretty decent yet. He's not declining real fast.
Okay,
there.
good.
So, yep, he's hanging on.
All right. And you always have such a unique set because you don't look at the current stuff, do you?
None at all. None whatsoever. These are when they had ball players and they played ball.
They wanted to play ball.
They wanted to play ball.
And it was to play ball.
And it was to play ball. And work ball.
Exactly.
They did that too.
Not necessarily these $65 million contracts.
Nope. And when a pitcher is going to pitch a complete game, they went for a complete game, whether it was 10 innings or 11.
Yep.
So.
Yep, exactly. How has business been today? Been pretty steady?
Pretty good. You betcha.
Good.
Yep. Very nice.
Good.
Very nice.
And how many of these do you do a year, roughly?
I do about 2 a month.
Okay.
I always go to one in Detroit once a month, and then I pick one from around here that I do also. So,
Okay.
So I do 2 a month.
Okay.
Yep.
What is an all-time favorite card? Put you on the spot. Oh, he didn't even hesitate. And it is what?
1954 Al Kaline rookie card.
Okay.
Just got it yesterday.
Oh, no kidding.
What they do with these expensive cards now, they send them to an authenticator before they send it to you.
Okay.
That's why this thing is in such a beautiful case.
Nice.
It's so I really like that. So, yep, this is another one of my dandies right there. 59 mantle.
Okay.
Very beautiful. So, but and then of course always my Norm Caches, like you and I have always talked about.
Yep.
But that's another one of my favorites.
There you go. Is there any that you are looking for in particular that you haven't been able to get your hands on?
One that I'll never figure on getting and I'll never try is the 52 mantle.
I knew you were going to go there. That was Tom Brooks always told me the same exact thing.
Yep. I've gotten quite a few of the 53 mantles. That's the next one on up. I think I've sold 4 or 5 of those.
Okay.
So, and right now, not really. I'm having fun enough with my 10 years of cards that I've got here, and that's all I go for.
How long have you been doing this, Marv?
13 years.
Okay.
Yep.
What got you started in it?
Actually, my brother started with it.
Okay.
And he was doing it about 2 years, and finally I thought, hey, I wonder what it would cost me to put together a 59 set. Okay. I don't know why I picked that, but I liked the colors of it. And so I started getting cards, and then I started putting some of my cards on the table along with his, and that's the way I got started with it. Now, he's been not helping me for about 3-4 years now already. So, and then I've gone down to 1954s to 1964s. I've broke it right on down to that. Tops cards only. So
there you go.
That's what I'm doing.
It's always fun looking at them because, I mean, we've commented today multiple times. It's amazing what cards look like today. I mean, you look at some of these cards, and I think I like the old ones to myself. I mean, they just look like what baseball cards should look like.
You betcha. That's right. That is what cards should look like. Nice big face. And Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Marv, say hello to your brother for us. We miss you.
Oh, definitely.
And it's always a pleasure taking the time and talking with you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
It may seem simple, but it's complicated.
Well, we are joined for the 17th time. You made it to your number. Stubby Overmire Card and Collector Show, baseball's last 30-game winner, 1968, 1969 Cy Young Award winner, 1968 World Series champion. I could go on, but
keep going.
We'll just say, Mr. Denny McLain, welcome.
Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good to have you back once again this year.
Nice to be here. Good to see Ty and his whole crew here. It's I see that in the last couple of years we've had a little problem with the building.
Yep.
Not a good thing, especially if anybody was in it. Thank God they weren't.
Exactly.
Boy, you guys would have made the national news then.
Yes.
But no, it's just good to see people we've been so friendly with for a long, long time. I mean, it's Sharon got me involved in this thing. I have no idea how she did it. But all of a sudden, we're driving to Grand Rapids on a Saturday morning at 6:30. I said, my God, what's the matter with you?
It's amazing what those wives get us into, isn't it?
It's amazing. Just amazing. 54 years, and I couldn't get rid of her because she knew too much. So, the options were minimal.
There you go. How you doing? Are you doing good?
Yeah, I'm just getting over a bad case of the flu.
Okay.
And, boy, it has just, I forgot to get my flu shot, get your damn flu shots and the other shots. There's no downside to any of them.
Yep.
And the bottom line is, we're trying to protect each other. And me, of all people, forgot to get a flu shot. Every week I was reminded, go today, go today, go today, go today. And for some reason, I got to be brain dead, although I just got a new knee.
Oh, there you go.
16 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're moving pretty good for that.
Moving pretty good for 16 days.
Absolutely.
I'm on my little walker, and they think in a couple of weeks I'll be walking again.
Okay.
I haven't walked in about 3 years.
Complete replacement?
Complete replacement. And I got to tell you something. If you need one, I'm not going to tell you to go get one, because the first 3 or 4 days, 5 days are, to say, tumultuous, painful, hurts like hell. But after the first 4 or 5 days, it gets better pretty quick.
Good.
And
How long will it take overall, are they saying?
Another 3-4 weeks, maybe.
Okay.
But I'm what I really lost is a lot of balance, and I've always prided myself on my balance to some degree, and boy, it just knocked me down.
Yep.
Because I can't. If I try to walk from here to there 15 feet, I've got a real good chance of going down for the count. But it's with the walker and everything. I can walk right. I can get there right. I can do everything. But the damn walker weighs more than I do, for Christ's sake. So, I need 3 people to travel with me. Can't afford that.
Plus getting it in and out of the vehicle and anything else. So.
Man, I'll tell you.
Speaking of traveling, are you still doing a lot of shows? I know I ran into one of my guys at work, said he saw you at a show in Lansing a few months ago.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
He said you said you were slowing down a little bit. Is that true?
There was a conversation about that. Probably lasted about 4 minutes. We love doing this. That's number one. We really do.
Yep.
We have a good time with it. Like last night, we had a small dinner for people who've been a part of this thing, and just the memories that they have. This show, that show. Dean Chance coming here.
Yep.
Of course, 2-3 weeks later, he died.
Right.
That was his last big offering to the public. He signed, I don't know if anybody knows, but he signed over 600 autographs.
Did he really that day? Wow.
Yeah. He was unbelievable. He was not going to leave until he signed every one of them. And then he drove home.
No kidding.
All the way back to Cleveland area.
I was going to say, that was in the Ohio, Cleveland area.
And it was winter. I mean, it was the day he came in, it was snowing.
Yep.
But he became quite a friend. And a lot of the other guys, Canseco and those guys, we really had a good show of what the guys care about. And that was not my zipper, by the way, that they sell.
Mine either.
That was, I don't know what it was, but it was close. But bottom line is, listen, it's all been fun. You still run into the scumbags out there that are signing false autographs and what have you. So buyer beware. But what I've always said to people about buying an autograph that's not certified is simply this. If you think that picture is Mickey Mantle, it probably is or isn't, right?
Yep.
But the bottom line is if you're so dedicated to wanting to get that picture, it's your Mickey Mantle.
Right.
Nobody else has to know if in fact that's the way you want to treat it. And so it's not the worst thing that ever happens to anybody, because I think some of the forgeries I've seen are better than Mickey's signature, for God's sake. And Mickey had a beautiful signature.
Did he really?
Yeah, just as good as anybody.
Okay.
So that's it's a fun business.
Yeah.
The kids come in and they start telling stories. About 2, 3, 4 years ago, I saw Ty's daughter, and she just had a baby. I guess it's 4 or 5 years now, and it's amazing. I swear that baby was this big when she was born. Now she's, it's unbelievable.
Yep.
Wow, 1 year can make such a difference in somebody's life. Is incredible.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Does it still surprise and amaze you when you go to shows to have the number? I mean, back to 68, 69, when you were in your big stardom, and see the number of people that come out to shows and to get your autograph and stuff like that?
Well, thank God for grandmothers and grandfathers. They've got all the stories.
Yep.
They've been feeding their kids stories all along. Because so I played from 63 to 74. I was actually, really done in 74 too. But the stories that come out, the pictures they bring, the autographs they bring, it's amazing to me.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of work in the things that they did, and there goes the other part of my zipper.
You're still falling.
Both zippers are gone. But bottom line is, it's just been fun. I just wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yep.
And we're thinking about doing at least one, possibly two, depending upon how I feel. But we're going to try.
Good for you.
Yeah. Keeps me busy also.
Yep.
Because after Sharon passed away, Jesus, I'm sitting in the house. What do I do now?
Sure.
I mean, in all honesty, after she passed, I sat in a couch in my home for 12 months in a row.
Oh, man.
Never left. And just starting to get over it now.
Yep.
But we had 54 great years together, and maybe the last 2 were the best.
Yep.
I mean, there was more commitment. I don't know about more commitment. Maybe that's the wrong term, but it was more fun.
Yep.
Up until the last 7, 8 months.
Sure.
And but it was unbelievable.
Yep.
And how she went out, and how she passed on. It was miraculous. I won't share that, but something happened that I knew something was going on, but there was nothing I could do. There wasn't any emergency going off. There wasn't any bells going off.
Yep.
And lo and behold, an hour or two later, she had passed. So
Yep.
anyway, quite a lady. And I think anybody who's ever met her knows that.
I was going to say, I had the pleasure of meeting her several times here at the show, and she was always a classy lady and top notch every time I met her, that's for certain.
I'm not going to even ask you what that white stuff was.
Speaking of the house, did you ever sell it yet?
Oh yeah, I
you?
sold it. Made a terrible mistake. Sold the house like, that's when the real estate market started to boom again.
Sure.
And I got some guy come to the door. Sign hadn't even been up yet. The guy come to the door and he said, "I hear you're selling your house." I said, "Yeah, one day." And he said, "I got a cash deal for you." I said, "Yeah, everybody does." And he said, No. He said, "I'll bring you a check today or tomorrow." I said, "Okay, sure." So an hour and a half later, he was back with a significant check.
No kidding.
And I said, "When do you want to move in?" He said, "Oh, give me a couple of weeks, 3 weeks." I said, whoa, wait a minute. I said, "I've been living here a long time." And he said, "Well, I got 6 children. What do you want me to do?"
Goodness.
I said, "I guess you got to either stay at the Holiday Inn or find a refuge center that'll take a whole crew in."
Sure.
So he called me the next day and said, "Is there any way you can get out of there in 3 or 4 weeks?" I said, "We'll get out." So brought in a crew, got it out, got it over with. And I never thought about where I was going to live next. So now when I'm out of the house that night, all I'm thinking about is going to the hotel for one night, right? That's been a year and a half ago.
Oh my goodness.
I'm still in the Marriott.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And no room service. Are you kidding? No room service.
Oh, man.
No room service. Do you hear me, Marriott?
Take a hint here, folks.
Jeez. I would never leave the room.
But you're getting out, you're doing the shows. Did you make it to any games this year or not?
Half a dozen. It's not fun to watch this ball club.
No, it's not.
It just isn't fun. They've got such limited talent. When your best hitters are 220, 230.
Well, that's normal.
What
these
the hell
days.
is wrong? What is wrong with this organization? Starts at the top. The fish head starts and stinks at the top.
Yep.
And I told Illich, we ran into each other in the hallway, him and one of his guys, and I said, "Chris, I have something to say." We shook hands. And I said, "What you need to do, for your own sake, sell the club. You're a fish out of water." He doesn't understand the game. He let Avila stay a little bit too long. Of course, everybody else before him did the same thing. I mean, Avila, keep this in mind, out of his 19 or 20 years in baseball, 19 years, he was the assistant to the assistant. Now, excuse me, that qualifies you in the Tiger organization, right?
Right.
To be the vice president. Now, number 2, they hire a kid out of Michigan, University of Michigan, to be a pitching coach. These guys that he's going to be a pitching coach for are all making $25, $35 million a year. Do you think those kids are going to listen to this guy from University of Michigan? Right. Come on.
Yep.
I mean, that's how backwards it is. Now they hire a guy nobody's ever heard of, and now they're looking for. I think they're looking for a manager. I really do, because this guy's been a total bust. Apparently, if he can't cheat, he can't play. It's just awful.
Yep.
And they got away with everything. And Mr. Studnuts, I call him, Mr. Verlander, where was he? He spoke up for everything when he was in Detroit,
Right.
Never opened his damn mouth when this cheating was going on, and was a part of it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Listen, when I played ball in 1968 or 9, whenever it was one year, I threw a bucket of water on a writer.
I remember that.
I got suspended for the entire season.
Yep.
A bucket of water.
Yep.
Everybody said, "Oh no, he threw urine on him." It wasn't urine; it was water.
Yep.
And got suspended for the whole year. They sent me to the psych ward. Actually, sent me to a psych ward.
Seriously.
Absolutely. Could I put a ball in a square? No. I mean, what do you want me to do with this? We don't care what you do with it. I said, if I can't put the ball in the square, what am I supposed to do with it? He says, figure it out. We'll come back 2 hours later, and I'm still sitting there. I don't even want to tell you what I was going to do, but I just couldn't believe it.
That is amazing.
It is.
What a difference in times.
Absolutely. I mean, guys now, they take steroids. They're making $300 million a year, and they take steroids, and they're suspended for a week.
Yep.
My God. It's the game has. There's a lot of reasons for it. I mean, none very good. You know, we used to be the purest sport out there. We no longer are.
Right.
And hopefully one day we will get into the front office of Major League Baseball, a commissioner who wants to take charge of the game, not sporting events. In other words, put a man on second in the 10th inning. I mean, come on. No more shifts. By the way, the shift was started by my father-in-law, Lou Boudreau, Cleveland Indians, MVP, led the American League in hitting one year, and Lou was the guy. Why? Why did he want to do the shift? Ted Williams. Because he knew Williams so well that with the shift there, Ted would be more eager to hit the ball through you than to hit the ball the other way. Ted never hit the ball the other way. And that's where the shift came from Boudreau. Yeah.
Interesting. I was looking back. I never realized this. Your 6 losses in '68, 3 of them were to the Baltimore Orioles. I was surprised when I read that. Was there something, I mean, I know they had a great lineup, but was there anything in particular with that team that just...
No, you know, you can't be perfect every time out there. You know, that's, and I think a lot of the games are pretty close games, too. But, you know, the game takes on different versions of itself from time to time. And the best part of the Baltimore club, they were, as far as I was concerned, behind us, they were the best club in baseball. Because they really had an unbelievable lineup.
They did.
In fact, I got hit up there once in a while pretty hard, and Boog Powell used to hit me pretty hard. And not because he's a good hitter, was a good hitter, although he did 280, I think, in his career. Today he'd be a superstar. But what Boog did was every time I threw a pitch, could never get the ball inside, never could get the ball outside. Everything I threw him, for God's sakes, was down the middle of the plate. And he'd hit it, whack a tack boy. And finally I said, "Don't come up again." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Don't come up again." Come up about 2 innings later. I said, "I told you." He said, "What do you mean you told me?" I said, "I told you, be ready." Broke his hand.
Oh, no kidding.
The hell with him.
High inside or what?
What do you mean high inside? I hit his hand, his ear.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, nice way to get him out of the game.
And that would never happen these days.
These days you can't throw at anybody, you can't knock them down. I mean, that was a weapon that a pitcher possessed back then.
As it should be.
As it should be. I mean, we got if a good hitters protect one side or the other of the plate. They look for the ball in an area. They're not. Most of them aren't looking for curveballs, or unless you've got a propensity for throwing too many of them. Most guys don't sit on a fastball. They sit on the baseball itself. And if that ball winds up in the area they're looking, they're going to hit it. If it's not, they're going to take it in most cases. But that's where the game has changed. And everybody wants to hit a home run. I mean, you got the little guy in Houston who hits, 30, 40 home runs every year. He's really a terrific player, but he's done now, more or less. Although I think they'll probably bring him back again. And I'm anxious to see where Verlander winds up.
Yes.
I don't think they'll bring him back here.
No?
Not anymore, no.
Okay. What do you think of the Aaron Judge and 62 home runs?
It's amazing. It's amazing. I never thought he'd hit 60 home runs, but God, the guy's like 18 feet tall.
Exactly.
He's got a home run swing. That's all the swing he's got is a home run swing. And he hit it 62 times out of the ballpark. And he deserved it. He played almost every game, every inning. He seems like a great kid. He's got great parents. And he's going to be an icon in New York for a long time.
Think he'll stay there?
If he goes, listen, if you can play in New York and have success, you can play anywhere. And I'm telling you, if that kid leaves New York, he blows $1 billion.
Oh, yeah.
And I know money's not his entire God. I hope not anyway. But bottom line with him is he's got really good ideas of what hitting's all about, running the bases. He's weak when he's thrown to cutoff men, but the rest of the time he really is a major league player. He could be the iconic Yankee for the last 100 years. Think about being ranked up there with Mickey Mantle.
Oh, absolutely.
Joe DiMaggio, although Joe DiMaggio was a horse's ass.
Yep.
But it's unbelievable unbelievable what this kid did this year.
Yep.
And now the test is the next year.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
Yep. After
Because somebody's coming after him.
Yep.
Somebody will get him, you know.
Yep. You lost your battery mate not too long ago. Bill Freehand left us.
Best catcher I ever saw. One of the nicest men I ever met in my life. He got Alzheimer's about 12, 14 years ago, and I saw him steadily go downhill. It's the worst ravaging disease I've ever seen. My wife had Parkinson's. That was really bad.
Yep.
But this Parkinson's, I mean this, what did I call Alzheimer's? I just couldn't get over it. I mean, just can't get over it. And because my mother always told me, she says, we were talking about it one time a number of years ago, and she said, don't you worry, you're on my side of the family. I said, worry about what? My mom was a Polish Jew, and she was one of them, you know. And she said, you'll never, ever, ever have to worry about it. I said, why? She said, because if you get it, I'm going to shoot you. Because if you forget I'm your mother, I'll kill you.
And I hear Mickey Lolich is not doing too good right now.
I don't know much about it. I know I was told the other day he can't walk much anymore. Okay. But he was another good one, you know.
Yep.
It's we had a team second to none for a number of years. We probably should have won it in '67,
right,
except for the bonehead play that some of you will remember. Hank and Gary throwing to the wrong base with one out. We had a triple play if we didn't have a double play. And then the next guy, Mincher, come up, hit a 3-run homer and drove us out of the ballpark. But, man, I'll tell you, they, Lolich and some of the other guys, Ray Euler just died about 15, 20 years ago. Tommy Matchik just died,
yep,
the shortstop. Now,
he was here a couple years ago.
Yep, we had him up here. And there's one thing about Tommy. I asked Tommy, have you had your injections? I'm not getting them injections. I'm not getting them. My wife ain't either. I said, okay. I said, but when we do, I'm going to come piss on your grave. I said, keep your mouth open when you die. I'm telling you, and I used to scream at him, Tommy, get the injection. You won't even feel it. I didn't feel mine, you know. But boy, for some reason, so what happens is, she gets it first, COVID, and she gets in the hospital. They got her on the respirator, whatever it is. Yep. Then 3-4 days later, here comes Tommy. 3-4 days later, another week, 10 days go by, Tommy's dead, died from COVID. But wouldn't listen.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that's a lesson to be learned, but it is.
Right.
You know, there's no downside to it.
Yep.
And it's like the doctor told me, he says, even if you die from it, at least you got it.
Exactly.
And you've saved a lot of lives in the between. So,
yep,
crazy stuff.
Yep. So it's getting to be fewer and fewer of your team left hanging out there.
Yeah, it's just me, Donnie Ward, who's apparently can't move much. I'm trying to think who else. See, Cash is gone, McCullough's gone, Euler's gone.
Mickey Stanley's hanging.
Mickey's hanging in there. Trying to think who else. Oh, Willie. Willie's still around.
Yep. He looked better the few times. I haven't seen him.
Well,
I
think he's had like 4 or 5 or 6 back operations.
Okay.
So he's finally getting around on what I'm getting around on this walker.
Yep.
But outside of that, he doesn't do much. He'll do a card show about once a month, twice a month.
Okay.
But that's about all.
Yep.
But he's a good man. He's really a good man.
Absolutely.
Always has been. Outspoken to no degree.
Yep.
And just fun to be around because Willie, the jokes they used to play on Willie, God, I wish we had a video. We'd have had some great stuff.
Yeah, the first time he came in, one of my good friends brought him in for a Fellowship of Christian Athletes breakfast here. And he brought him into work. And I mean, Willie, when I was growing up, I loved watching Willie play. And he came in and came into work, as a matter of fact, and I went walking out and kind of in awestruck, kind of like the first time I met you. And just wow, Mr. Horton. He stopped me right there. He said, stop. He said, I am not Mr. Horton. I am Willie, and that's what you will call me. And I just,
Well,
Okay. I mean, just it was
if
amazing.
you don't listen to him, he'll slap the hell out of you. I mean, you got to listen to him.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I certainly listened.
He can take on this whole gym by himself.
Well, Denny, I won't keep you.
Okay.
You're looking good this year. I'm glad to see you back with us here.
Feeling a lot better.
Good.
A lot better.
I know there's people that'll be lining up out there to get the autographs, just like what there always is. We made it, as I say, to your number and Emelander's number 17.
Yep.
And still going
And
strong.
we got a granddaughter over there, that Ty has, and they're trying to coax her into wearing 17. But I think she's got an independent mind, this little girl. She is so funny.
Yeah, we stopped by. I took my wife over to the baseball stadium this morning real quick before we closed and saw the outline of the jerseys out there.
Yeah.
And boy, that's hard to believe that was 11 years ago that was dedicated.
Hard to believe in it, yeah.
I was amazed when I read that on the plaque. But
unbelievable.
it is. But Denny, as always, sir,
My
it's a
pleasure.
talking
Thank
with you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Take care. We're joined now by the organizer of this entire event, Ty Emelander. Ty, it's always a pleasure.
Good to see you, Mike. Good
You
to
made
see
it to,
Gary
as
and
we just
Doug.
said when we talked with Denny, we made it to number 17, made it to his and Amanda's number.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
I know the story. I know a lot of people do, but I'm sure there's some viewers that don't know. How did this whole thing, Stubby Overmire, how did this whole thing start?
Well, when I came back as a baseball coach, Stubby Overmire was a name I knew my whole life because I grew up almost a street over from where Stubby Overmire lived, and I always heard about Stubby Overmire growing up. And there isn't a whole lot of guys that played Major League Baseball that went to your school, so I knew about Stubby Overmire. And when I come back as a coach, I said, well, we got a fairly new field. Let's name it after Stubby Overmire, and that's what kind of started it. And then I thought, well, let's see if we can reach out and get some of the old Tigers to sign some stuff for an auction. Okay, and a lot of Tigers did. Ron LaFleur, Mark Fidrich, a bunch of them I got to talk to. A lot of my childhood heroes on the phone. And I remember one time Jim Northrup called me at my work and talked for probably about 45 minutes how much he hated Jim Price. but I got to talk to those guys, and it got to be really cool. But then all of a sudden I got a phone call one day, and I said, who's this? And I goes, Ty Emelander. He goes, this is Denny McLain. And I go, yeah. He goes, I want to come to that auction. And I'm like, okay. He goes, when is it? And we didn't have a date quite set yet. I go, I ain't set a date yet. And he goes, well, let me know. And boom, that was the end of the phone call. So I call him back once we set a date. I go, are you still planning on coming? He goes, I told you I'm coming. That was kind of the start of it. And at first I didn't even know if it was true because I didn't know if it was one of my friends screwing around with me or what. But Denny showed up. I remember the first time you guys interviewed him. I said, Denny, I didn't really know Denny at all yet.
Sure.
I said, Denny, the local cable access wants to come and they want to do a short interview. He goes, no. And I thought, oh, geez, you guys are here to do it, and you got all your stuff here. He goes, I don't do short interviews. he
did not lie.
Right. So that's what it kind of evolved into. And like you said, my daughter wore his number, and he used to come watch her play softball a lot. And it's just and Sharon, my God, what a blessing she was to this whole thing. I mean, I miss that lady a ton.
Yep. Yeah, I took my wife over. She had never been over by the baseball field, so we drove over there this morning before we came over to the show, and she got some pictures and everything of the back of the press box and the outline of the jerseys and everything. And I told her, and I told Denny, I said it's hard to believe that was 11 years ago now that field was dedicated. I mean, amazing.
Sharon actually that has a jersey says Sharon. That's her father's number, who was a Hall of Famer, was an MVP. I think arguably maybe the best MVP year ever because he was a league MVP. He was a player manager, and they won a World Series.
Yep.
I mean, what can you do to top that as a baseball player? But,
absolutely.
So that's her father's number, but we put the name Sharon on top.
Yep.
And we did that when she was, still here and she was struggling with health. We did that, and we sent her pictures of it. And it was I don't know. She's, like I said, she's really missed. She was a great lady.
Yep, absolutely so. And again, I have a very good idea, but what did you do with the funding that you get from this?
You know, we've put all that building that sits there that we were talking about, and I'm sure Gary will put pictures of it out there, but that building, and we put a lot of stuff into it. We built a bullpen. We did a lot of stuff to the field, but we also use it to fund like our spring trip. You know, like last year we had a young man. This is kind of what is cool about what we do is we had a young man from what is it, Tanzania.
Yep.
There you go. Thank you. He never played baseball until 2 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, I always joke with him when he first started playing. This is how he'd swing.
Like
he's like trying to hammer a nail. Well, now he has a nice swing. He's the hardest working kid, straight A student. But he went on a spring trip with us. It was kind of funny. We're talking, and he never went to a sit-down restaurant in his entire life.
Oh, no kidding.
Hey, he grew up in a concentration camp there, and he's never been to a sit-down restaurant. So I actually said to the players, I go, hey, do you guys care if I take him out to eat? And they're like, oh, no, we'll help pay for it. I go, no, we'll take care of it.
Yep.
But you know, I took him out to eat, and the most nervous I've ever seen a person at a restaurant in my entire life, because he's never been at a sit-down restaurant.
Wow.
But it was cool. Even for me, it was rewarding. I got to share that first experience with him.
Absolutely.
Me and him still joke about it. He says this year he's going to buy my dinner down there, which hey, that's a good thing. We'll see. We'll see if we let him do that. But so that's we go on a spring trip every year, and we keep it very affordable because of stuff like this.
Yep.
So.
That's down to Kentucky, if I remember.
Yep,
correctly.
we go to Georgetown, Kentucky every year. We've talked about next year's my 20th year as a coach. We talked about doing something a little more unique for 1 year, but we'll see. We'll see.
That was going to be my next question, is how long you have been doing this. I knew it had been a while.
Next year will be my 20th year as the head coach here. Now, I was an assistant coach here one time, and I did coach JV here at one time. So I got about 23 years in here total. You know, I've coached some football here too, but.
So you have touched an awful lot of young men's lives, and I'm sure it's very rewarding when they come back and see and visit after.
Yeah, I've seen a few today. It's kind of nice, and it's a two-way street though. You know,
Sure.
You get to you watch them grow up, and it's so cool to talk. Catch up with guys, and you always reminisce, and some of the stories they get a little bigger and better.
Absolutely. Well, it's a little different this year out there though. We don't have our buddy Tom Brooks with us.
Yes, that's sad, because Tom was like, when I first started doing this, Tom was the kind of the guy I went to that told me what to do, how to do it, how to organize, and who to get a hold of, and he kind of showed me the ropes. And I always communicated with Tom every year. He still always come and donate stuff for the auction, and it was a kind of a shocker to me. I wish I'd have known sooner, because I kind of found out through the grapevine, through the card collector grapevine a few weeks after he passed away. But no, I miss Tom. He was just a real nice guy. Always
absolutely.
Had a big smile on his face. Yep. Enjoyed what he did. He enjoyed doing this.
He did. Yeah, I was shocked when I got the phone call from you. I couldn't believe it, and I let Gary know right away. And between Gary and my wife Pat and myself, we went down for visitation and met his wife. And
oh, did you really?
We did, and saw a lot of the vendors that are here today. I mean, it was just the camaraderie that those guys have. That it was very neat to see from that point of view.
Oh yeah, these guys see each other all the time, and they're always. I mean, these guys are so good. They understand this is a fundraiser, and someone. They pay a little more for their tables than they had to, and they're always helpful too. So that's really nice. Dealing with like Vern and that group of guys, Dave Lover's out there. He's helped a ton. Dale, Eldred, he really helped promote this. So it's they've kind of helped me out a little bit, because Tom was kind of my guy that would boots to the ground guy that would hit everything. So
absolutely. So it's number 17. You've had plenty of faces come and go. You guys went to Cooperstown this year again.
Yep, I went down and helped Denny in Cooperstown again. It was a fun time. I have a good time with Denny there. We did it quite a few times now, and it's kind of like baseball Disneyland, So it's kind of, I like being there.
Yeah, it's always fun to see what pictures you post from out there. It's like, oh my gosh, look at that, he's with so and so.
Oh yeah,
look at this.
You run it, and a lot of them come over to talk to Denny, so you get to meet a few players that way.
Yep, absolutely. So, but. Yeah, Ty, it's always a pleasure. It's always fun coming over here. It's always good to see Denny. He's doing very good this year, and it still amazes me, and I even asked him to see the number of people that even after all these years still come out to get his autograph.
Oh, yeah. It's I sometimes wonder if there's anything with Denny McLain on it that isn't signed by Denny in West Michigan. I don't know where people keep coming up with more stuff to sign, but they still come, and hey, he's the last 30-game winner ever. That ain't never happening again.
No.
And it's a whole different game now. The other night at the World Series, they had a no-hitter pitch. It was cool to have a no-hitter pitch, but it was 4 pitchers.
Exactly.
It ain't the same.
No.
The game's changed.
No, not even. How about the high school game? Has that changed a whole lot with how you do things or not?
Well, the high school game, what changed a few years back is because D1 athletes were hitting so many home runs, they deadened the bats.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, that trickles down to high school freshmen. Some of those freshmen can barely swing a bat. So the home runs in high school are almost non-existent now, where it used to be, I think one year, 2011, I had a team, we had 23 home runs.
Wow.
And I don't think I've seen, in the last 5 years, I don't think I've seen in all the games combined, even our opponent, 15 home runs.
Really?
The home runs have died way down. And so the game's changed. Kids, and it's almost like, to be honest, what frustrates me is they're being preached the big league version of baseball, launch angle, and try to hit it out, and they're using these dead bats, and they're not strong enough to hit it far enough. And I think too many kids that are listening to the coaches that are preaching launch angle are flying out to the left fielder.
Yep.
And I believe in launch angle. It's just which angle you launch it at. If you're real fast and you can run, beat it on the ground.
Exactly.
That's your launch angle.
Yep.
But so it's. I don't think high school baseball has really evolved into a whole lot better game than it was 30 years ago.
Yep.
I think it's about the same, but the bats are definitely dead now.
Yep. And if nothing else, that launch angle has made a whole lot more 220 hitters out there than what there ever had been.
Well, I think baseball this year, they kind of deadened the ball again because they want the base hit to come back.
Yep.
And that to swing and miss all the time it's fun to watch a home run, but to watch guys strike out all the time isn't that fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but it's still my favorite game to watch.
Yep.
And, hopefully, the Tigers do something different really, really, really soon.
Make it out to their games at all or not?
I haven't. This year, I honestly didn't want to go watch that team. I'll be honest.
I think
their
that
star
was a
hitter
general consensus.
Yeah, I think they were high. They were high on Riley Green at the end of the year. What he hit about 257 or something. There's just not a lot there right now.
Exactly.
It was fun back when Jim Leland was a coach, and
Yep.
I loved watching the Tigers. And
Yep.
I still watch them and pay attention, but they just don't have a lot of stars.
No, exactly. So, well, Ty, we'll let you get back to it. I know it's always a very, very busy day, but we greatly appreciate giving us the opportunity to come out as always, and it's always a good time, and it certainly goes for a good cause.
Always appreciate you guys coming out and all the people that help out. I always forget somebody, so my JV coach out there, Marcus, he's there, and I think you guys are going to interview Mike.
Yep.
He's here every year religiously, and they help out a ton. And then, of course, Denny, who's been a godsend to Lee baseball. He's been super loyal.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you, Ty.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Well, we're joined now by the next generation of the Emelander family.
Amanda Emelander.
This is Ty's daughter. We've talked with her many, many times. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you? Are you doing good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. How old are you now?
7.
And what do you do? What do you like playing?
Soccer.
Soccer? How about softball?
Yeah.
Yeah? I think I've seen some video of you with the windmill going already, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yeah? You like pitching?
Yeah.
Do you? What else do you play besides pitcher? Anything?
First base.
All right. What do you like better?
Pitching.
Do you? I'm surprised Grandpa doesn't have you in the catcher's gear.
She's caught a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
I play all around.
all right.
So.
And what are you doing now, Amanda?
I work at Blodgett Hospital, and just been staying busy working. She has a little brother on the way.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Due December 27th.
Nice.
So we're going to be busy. We're going to have our hands full.
And I understand you coached her this year over at Pinery, is that correct?
Yep, I did. We did.
How was that?
It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot different than teaching the basics than, because I coached high school here for a while, and so, but it was fun. We got to spend a lot of time together and watch her grow.
There you go.
And watch her fall in love with it, too.
That's the key right there.
But she loves soccer, too, though.
Do you?
She's always busy. She never sits down. So.
I'm sure. So, I mean, that means Mom doesn't either then, right?
Yeah. Fortunately, her dad is the bike rider, and they go on adventures and stuff, too. So
there you go. Good deal. Do you have your own bike?
Yeah.
Nice. Good deal. Well, thank you as always. It's a pleasure to talk with you. We appreciate the time, and we wish you nothing but the best. You've got some good examples to grow up with.
What do you say?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we are now joined by
Lemick Maulidi.
Very nice to meet you. What grade are you in?
I'm a 10th grader.
And you play for Coach Ty?
Yes, sir.
What position?
Right field.
All right. And how long have you been playing baseball?
For 3 to 2 years.
All right. And you're originally from where?
Tanzania.
And how long have you been over here at Wyoming Lee?
I've been here for 3 to 4 years.
Okay. Good experiences so far and a learning experience, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
So Coach Ty is sitting right next to you. What kind of a coach is he?
He's a good coach.
Is he?
And he has taught me a lot.
Such as what?
He has taught me how to swing my bat every time because I used to swing bad and stuff. Yeah.
Are you right-handed or left?
Right-handed.
Okay. What's your favorite thing so far that you have been able to do as a player here?
I've got to improve every day and every moment. I'm at practice every time. Yeah.
Perfect. And that's a lot of it is to that man to your right there, I'm sure.
Yep, it is.
I got to tell a story about Lemick. Okay, Lemick went on a spring trip with us last year, first year. I got to know him really on the bus ride down. I mean, I found out so much about Lemick. Lemick's a straight A student.
Wow.
He works hard every day. He's a little nervous here, but he did in Kentucky walk to about 4 different places looking for a bucket of steam with him and a couple other freshmen. So he's already kind of eyeing what kid we're going to get next year with our traditional bucket of steam trick. So he's already telling me, hey, I think we need to get that kid, or I don't know if that kid will fall for it. But no, Lemick's a pleasure to coach. He's one of the biggest reasons I'm staying here to coach baseball, because he comes here. He's here to shut this thing down and put away all these tables by himself.
There you go. You got your work cut out for you today.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we thank you very much for the time. I wish you nothing but the best in the upcoming season. And you got a good man working for you. Listen to what he says.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, too.
We are joined by Dale Eldred. Dale's been here many, many times.
Yes, I have. Quite a few.
All of them or not?
Not all, but most.
All right. And you come up out of the Kalamazoo area, correct?
Correct.
And you do your own shows down there as well?
Yes, we do. I run one at the Wing Stadium Annex building twice a year.
And when is that?
There'll be one coming up in January of next year.
Okay. And when's the other one, or isn't on a set schedule?
It'll be in September sometime next year also.
Okay, good deal. How's business been going so far today?
Not too bad. We've had a lot of traffic.
Yep.
So far.
And you shifted tables. We would be remiss if we didn't say this table spot is usually our old buddy Tommy Brooks had the front, right across from Denny and whoever else would be signing all the time. And Tom passed away this year, and that's tough. I know you guys have such a camaraderie as you get together. It's got to be a little bit different.
Yes, it is. I mean, I've known Tom for probably close to 30 years, and we've done a lot of card shows together over the years, and it was quite the shock, unfortunately.
Absolutely so. What do you have? Anything special here, Dale, that just really is piquing a lot of interest or anything like that?
Well, everything's special. No.
There you go. Very true.
Well, yeah, I've got some. I got some pretty nice Red Wing stuff, and I've got a really nice 8-piece game-used bat card that contains pieces of bat from Mickey Mantle, Ron Santo, Roberto Clemente, among others. That's numbered 18 out of only 20. Yep. And I've got a lot of different choices. We got some nice Tiger stuff, K-Line autograph card numbered only 15. Okay. So yeah, I've got some good choices.
Absolutely so. Is card collecting is so much different these days? So much is online. Do you see it picking back up, or is it kind of stagnant, or is it simply falling a little?
Well, I think it really increased during the pandemic.
Okay.
Because so many people were home, couldn't go anywhere, couldn't go to shows, we couldn't do shows, and so people got out their collections if they had any, or they put stuff online to sell, or they bought a lot online. So that put a real spike into the card business, also into the prices, unfortunately. Yep. Then after the pandemic died off and we were able to have shows again, it leveled out some. But I think the interest is still pretty high right now.
Yep. And your shows are always well attended when you have those as well.
Yes, they usually are. We've done them, I guess it'll be come 9 years in January. So, yeah, we've always had a really good attendance.
Good. Well, good deal. As always, it's a pleasure seeing you. I usually wind up going home with some of those Red Wing cards. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the same thing happens here before I walk out the door.
We hope so.
Dale, thank you very much, sir.
You.
Good to see you.
It. You too.
Appreciate it.
Goodbye.
Whatever works for you.
No.
Okay. 200? No.
You didn't.
Merry Christmas to me.
Michael! Shall I tell Stacy Merry Christmas to her? You won't believe the card he just bought. The asking price was $250. He didn't pay that for it.
Well, we are joined once again this year by
Vern Groenendyk.
Vern Groenendyk. Always see Vern at these things. It's an annual tradition. We always make a pit stop and talk to him. He always has something good here, don't you, Vern?
I try to have things that are good here. I try to attract attention with my stuff.
There you go.
Have them come here and buy stuff.
Yep.
But I have most fun just talking to them. You know that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was the special this year? Anything big going on?
I actually sold a Michigan box for $100 out there. Tried to sell the Spartan one for $100, but nobody wants to give me $100 for it. No, not right now anyway.
Gary will do it.
Really?
Yeah, Gary will cover it.
Gary might get it better than that.
He's on the Spartan side.
I've sold a little of everything today. Some bobbleheads, some figurines, some cards. I had a half-off sale in my showcase. That helps. Sold some yearbooks. I think I sold a baseball, sold a couple boxes, some pictures, a little of everything.
That's it, exactly. And you're doing good?
I'm doing okay. I can't complain. There you go. I'm alive.
There you go.
And it's a blessing to be alive.
Absolutely so.
Especially in the world we live in today.
Oh, without a doubt. It's a little bit different, though. Along those terms, we don't have Tom Brooks here with us this year.
We have Tom Brooks this year. We miss Tom.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and Tom would have probably done a little more advertising for you, too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I thought Tom was probably the one that brought the brochures around and did the advertising. But, yeah, sad to have Tom gone. He's a good man.
It is. Now, you also
have to hug each other, because we both had nice, soft tummies.
Now, you also have a show coming up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the first Saturday of March, we always have our show. It's our 31st annual show in March. Tom and I were always about the same time period, in terms of time. Yep. So, unfortunately, I'm going to pass him up, I think. But not pass him up, but pass, you know what I mean.
Yep.
So that's March, first Saturday in March.
Okay.
And I'm not sure we're going to have a signer this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are they getting harder to get?
Well, they're getting more difficult to get. People that in our price range that we can do, and the person that took over the fundraising at our school, I still sell the tables.
Yep.
But the person that takes over the fundraising is the person that has to go out and get the money for that kind of stuff, and that didn't happen last year.
Okay.
So I said to him, I says, if we aren't going to have an underwriter for those signers, we got to stop it because we're losing money on that. So I don't know what he's decided yet, but I'm assuming he's probably going to go the easy route.
Yep.
So I said, I can still sell the tables, but you're going to run it. So.
And your show is located where?
955 West End at Westside Christian School off of Koval and Leonard.
Yep.
You can get there both ways. So, yeah, it'll be the first Saturday in March, whatever that date is.
Yep. Yeah, we have been over to that show. We've filmed at that show a couple times and been to it a couple times. It's always a very, very well-done show, and you have a lot of participation.
You have a lot of participation. There will be 50-some tables there, probably some 30, 40 dealers, and we do it in our gym, hallways, kind of like here.
Yep.
But, yeah, we'll have lunch here like you guys do here. It'll be very similar. It's a fundraiser for our PTA, our parent club.
Sure.
So that's what it's for, and all the proceeds go for that cause. So actually, selling the pictures I sold today of Kelser, that money's going to go to West Side because we didn't sell all of them. So I said I'll take them on the road. So when he helped me with Blaha and Kelser, he's helping the school.
Yep. Now, other than this and your show, how many do you do a year roughly?
Oh, wow. Maybe 25 or so.
Really?
Yeah.
That many?
25 indoors, and I sell in the summertime. I go to Trufant to the outdoor flea market. I do that about 3 times a month. So that's during the months of May through September.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm kind of on the road year-round. Yeah.
But enjoying every minute of it.
Enjoy it. I go to a variety of places, Kalamazoo, Lansing, sometimes Muskegon, sometimes Holland, sometimes Zeeland. So I get to a lot of different places. Get to see a lot of people. I have a few people that follow me around.
Yep.
I mean, not because of me. They just come where I'm at. So.
Sure. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Vern, it's always a pleasure. It's always good to see you. It's always good to see what you've got out there. Bobbleheads. We know we're going to find bobbleheads when we come, Vern.
These guys have been doing this a while, too, haven't they?
They definitely have been. They've been here longer than me.
I was going to say the cameraman, I've seen him a lot. And this gentleman I think I've seen before, too. This guy been with you, too?
Yeah, Mr. Moore has been around. He's missed it for the last few, but he is certainly.
Are you a vet? Well, thanks for your service. Yeah, you too? Are you a vet, too? Thanks, too, for your service. We could send you back to Afghanistan and clean it out right now.
All right, Vern. Thank you very much, as always. Greatly appreciate it.
See you guys. Take care. Thanks. Thanks for your work. You're going to show the people the whole show sometime on TV?
Yes. It will.
All right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, if I say anything wrong, bleep it out.
We are joined now by Mike Donovan, who is the...
I'm a middle school history teacher here at Lee Middle School.
Okay. But today you have had the hardest job of anybody. You've had to be next to Denny for the entire day and take care of him. That's a handful.
Oh, it's easy. That's the easiest job in the world. He's great. So, no, I just, we talk baseball. There's nothing better than that. So I learn a lot about him every time.
He's got a story or two to tell, doesn't he?
He's a very smart guy. You can talk to him about a lot of things, and I really appreciate him.
Yep.
He's a pretty deep person.
How are things here at Wyoming Lee these days?
Good. Things are coming along. Our construction is going well. We're making progress. We're doing as best as we can with our kids. We have some really amazing ones here. I heard you talk to Lemick earlier, so that was good. So you've talked to one of our very best. But yeah, things are coming. So,
do they have a rough time frame on when it's going to be completed, or not really?
It's February 2024, from my understanding. But the punch sheets and things like that, it might be a little later. But yeah.
Well, good deal. And it's been a pretty steady day here for you, I believe, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think we've had quite a bit of foot traffic. I think we've sold probably 200 tickets for autographs for Denny. So he's had a pretty steady day.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we will let you get back to it. We appreciate the time as always, Mike. Thank you for helping us get set up in the other room and everything else for today as well.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank
It was always good seeing you guys. Thank you for coming.
How much was that? Well, that is going to wrap up the 22 version of the Ty Emelander's Stubby Overmire Card and Collector Show here at Wyoming Lee. Once again, we thank Ty for the opportunity to come out and bring this to the viewers, and of course, over my shoulder, Denny McLain for visiting with us once again and making the trip over here as well. As always, it's an event that we had the opportunity to talk to vendors with and some of the customers. It's for a great cause. But we would be remiss, as we have done in years past. We have dedicated this program to such as Sharon McLean and Ray Pueller. This year we dedicate it to a vendor that is missing. Tommy Brooks, who usually has his front table right across from where Denny is sitting, passed away in March. Ty called me on one day and said, I've got some bad news, and he gave me that news. Gary and my wife and I had the pleasure and the honor of going down to see his visitation the next weekend and meet his wife. And Tom was one of those that, even though we had never met her, he had told her so many stories, it was like she knew us and we knew her. Tommy is one of the good guys, there's no question. You can talk to any of the vendors here, and we saw that at that visitation. These same vendors were there and they showed their emotion. Tom was one that you always knew when you came walking into a show. You may only see him 1 or 2, 3 times a year, but it was like he was a best friend from 30 years ago. I know my collection at home certainly has much more memorabilia in it than what it ever would if I had not known Tom Brooks, and I know Gary's does as well. He would always greet us with his firm handshake and that grin that he always had and a big hug, and the first thing out of his mouth would say, come on back here. I want to show you something I've got behind the table. I want you guys to have first choice at it before I put it out. And of course, I'll make a deal with you. And Tom always did. I'm sure he would say this show will go on and it won't miss me one way or another. But I'm here to tell you, the show did go on, but we did miss something. I may be going home with 1 or 2 more checks in my checkbook than what I normally would if Tommy was here. I may be going home with more cash. But I'm going home missing something. I'm going home with an empty feeling because I miss that handshake, that grin, and that hug, and most of all, that friendship. Tommy, we miss you. We wish your family, your wife, everybody in it, nothing but the best, and may God bless them all.
There are times when I struggle, and times I fall, when I forget to put all my trust in you. There's times I try to walk through this world alone and open doors that I should never have walked through. And when I realize how far I've strayed from you, and remember you would never let me go, I turn from the lies that captivated me and run back to the only truth I've ever known. I've been forgiven. You set my troubles so free and opened my eyes to see the truth that's right in front of me. Lord, give me strength, the strength that only you could give, and a peace that passes all understanding. And I'm surrounded by your everlasting love, everlasting love. My salvation was judged by my perfection, then I would never
It always seems to. You always seem to hang on to something for this show, knowing that Gary and I are going to be here.
Yeah, that's easy. You guys are always, you're always here. We're always doing this. So I always have to kind of think, what can I get those guys? So I'm glad you're here and enjoying the show.
Yep, we appreciate it very much, as always. I see you've got a customer looking at some things that might be having some cards, so we'll let you get back to business, Mr. Brooks. But thank you, my friend. It's always a pleasure.
Very good to see you. You take care of you. Thank you. Take care, Gary.
We are rebels running on the loose. We don't care if you talk or disapprove of us.
Beauty between beauty between age or something.
It's something. I'm not sure why we're going with it, but all right.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Well, don't put them this way.
This is X-rated now.
I don't know if our ratings went up or down just now.
FCC might have something to say.
That's true.
I had one of Lee High School hot dogs.
One of those dogs?
One of those dogs.
All right.
I put mustard and I should have done that. Okay. We got to get serious here.
That's right. We're going to start all over.
How much was that?
As much as his wife will let him spend.
That's right, and she's not here, so it's unlimited.
It's a free for all.
No, we don't want to hit you any floor above the neck. We want you to eat and talk and be on your own sooner or later.
They'll give you what they call chin music.
I bit into an egg McMuffin. That was a mistake.
Ah.
Yeah. Oh, I do? Yeah. Can I eat it? I got to be somewhere Wednesday next week.